everyone, welcome back to my stream. If you tuned in just moments ago, I'm sorry we had some technical issues that I had to fix up. But if you're going to be watching this on Twitch or whether you end up watching it on YouTube where it will get uploaded soon, uh, thank you for watching. This is the inaugural Divide and Conquer AI Battle Royale, where we pit all of the AI factions together in what is going to be a slaughter. There's going to be no human involvement. I'm not going to mess with it. If you've noticed already, I'm playing as the Dark Lord of Mordor faction, where I'm up in the top corner of the map. I do nothing. You can't normally play as this faction, but I've enabled it in the settings. So from here we can have a very good view of what's going on the map. I've also enabled scripting so that I can see everything that's going on the map, and that's with just the normal toggling off Fog of War. You can do that in the console command, but I've also enabled it so I can see all of the units. I effectively have like a mega good spy where I can see everything that is going on across the entirety of the map. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be basically watching the AI battle it out. We're going to see who's going to come out on top. This is the normal campaign. It's not the Shattered Alliances one. So we're going to have our theaters of war. We're going to have our allies and our enemies. And I don't know how long this is going to go for, but it's going to go on until I think we've got a clear winner. So what we have is we're going to have multiple theaters of war, just like the actual War of the Ring worked. So our southern and probably our most important theatre of war is going to be the Gondor-Mordor battle. So, some of you may be familiar with Divide and Conquer already. It's a mod for Medieval 2. If you're not, I'm going to help explain some stuff anyway. So, first we have Gondor. Now, Gondor is one of the biggest, I think they might be the biggest faction at the start of the game. They have the most territory. However, a lot of their territory isn't that economically great to begin with. Their economy isn't that strong. They start off losing money, I believe. Their units are good, but their units are also expensive. Now, it's worth noting that AI does cheat, so the AI can get around some of that stuff, so they don't really have to worry about that as much as a human does, but, you know, it is still a thing that will hamstring them a bit. Now, allied with Gondor in this theatre of war is Dol Amroth. Now, technically, yeah, Dol Amroth, well, not technically, factually, Dol Amroth is not independent of Gondor. It's a Gondorian fiefdom. But in this mod, they've been made separate factions, although they are very closely allied. The reason for this is that the Gondorian AI, in other versions of the mod, earlier versions of the mod, and also in Third Age Total War, they actually struggled to deal with kind of Mordor and all of the other factions around them. So the developers added in Dol Amroth as a way to kind of help Gondor deal with their southern front. It is a bit of a trade-off though, because Dol Amroth is a very strong city. It's, as you can see, income 2000 already, which is crazy good. So Gondor loses out on that. They don't get that economic buff from Dol Amroth, but they have the buff of having like a really strong ally on their southern flank. Dol Amroth's units are very good, just like Gondor's units. I think Dol Amroth's units are actually better. Dol Amroth have really good cavalry. Gondor kind of struggles with cavalry a bit. But yeah, these two are going to be very hard to deal with. Now, just across the river, we have Mordor. Now, Mordor obviously are the big bad. They start with a fair amount of territory. They have some benefits too. They have the Nazgul. And I believe the creator of this mod actually created his own Nazgul with his own lore. Unfortunately, can't actually see the traits of all the and the ancillaries of all of the different characters. We can see their armies, but that's about it. So the Nazgul are really good. They're really strong generals, really hard to deal with in the battles. And they also come back to life, I believe. I believe you can't actually kill them, so they're going to come back. So Mordor's weakness is that their beginner units aren't very good. They're not terrible, they're not the worst in the game, but they're not exactly that good. So basically, it's going to be hordes of their units against Gondorian units, which are much better. However, the one thing Mordor does have going for them is that it's very hard to attack. There's really only two ways in. and both of them are very well defended. But Mordor has some allies too who are going to put some pressure on Gondor. First is Harad down here. Now Harad have a pretty well-rounded roster. They have plenty of territory to expand in. They're one of the better factions in the game, I reckon. They got one of the strongest endgame units. That's the Mumakil. They're very, very strong. Further to the south, we have Adunaim, which is another faction that the developers actually, well, not another faction, they are a faction that the developers invented. They're meant to represent kind of black Numenorians who survived to the end of the Third Age. And they're supposed to live down south, like, you know, beyond the map. And they've decided to come north and conquer what is theirs. Now, Adunaim, I'm going to just call them Black Numenor, because that's just easy. I'm going to call them Black Numenor. Black Numenor are incredibly strong. They have great, like, early expansion paths. These territories are really, really good. They have lots of mines that they can take advantage of. Basically, and I'd say that at endgame they have one of the strongest factions, strongest unit rosters. The thing that kind of makes it so that they don't play as big as an impact as they possibly could play is the fact that they spawn all the way down here. So they have to make their way all the way up if they want to get into the action. Now, this is another interesting faction here, mostly invented for the game, is Khand. Now, Khand are a bit of a wild card faction. They have probably I'd say they probably have the safest spawn in the entire game. They're all the way down here. They have plenty of mines to make use of. Khand can have an incredibly strong economy. Oh, Jesus, that scared the shit out of me. Holy I was not ready for that sound. Thank you for the follow, Boko Boy. Boko Boy. Yep, so Khand have a ton of potential. They have one of the strongest cavalry rosters in the game. But the reason why Khand are a wildcard faction is they actually have something called the Blue Wizard event, which spawns after a certain amount of time. And what the Blue Wizard event allows Khand to do is actually switch sides. They can actually fight against Mordor and its allies. I don't really know how the AI handles this one. It's a really hard event for the player to handle. I've tried it. No worries, Rokubo. It'll get me again. If I get any more follows during this stream, it'll get me again. I guarantee it. Alright, so that's basically it for the Southern Theatre of War. It's probably going to be the most hectic. It's the one that's going to kick off the earliest, right? The Second Theatre of War, which is kind of, you could say, the central one, is a little bit... It's also well known. So we have Rohan. Now, Rohan are a pretty strong faction. They start with a lot of territory. They have probably the strongest cavalry roster in the game. The one issue Rohan does have is that their infantry units aren't that great, and that they face off against factions that also have pretty strong unit rosters. So, another issue Rohan has is that their territory is kind of easily invadable. So if an enemy kind of breaks through, there's plenty of open territory, there's no natural defenses. It will be in a bit of trouble if that happens. So Rohan's biggest enemy is going to be Isengard. Now, Isengard have great armored units, they have great armored piercing units. They have units which are perfectly capable of dealing with Rohan's cavalry. The only problem for Isengard is that they're very condensed. They kind of don't have a lot of room for expansion early on, and if something goes wrong for them very early in the game, it can be a knockout blow instantly. Isengard does have an ally that was also not part of the original Third Age mod, but was added as part of Divide and Conquer. That is Dunland. Now, Dunland have a really strong early unit roster, right? They have plenty of territory for expansion. They'll grab Tharbad, which is a large city, so it can grow very big. Has a unique building too, Ruined Bridge, which isn't a great unique building, 25% less happiness. But Dunland, they're pretty strong. They cause problems for Rohan, and they'll also cause problems for the northern factions, but we'll get there soon. Okay, let's move up to the northeast. Now, our northeast theatre of war is going to be the dwarves and their mannish allies against the Easterlings and parts of Dol Guldur, right? So the dwarves of Erebor, they got a very nice start. They have mines to build. They can build a lot of mines early on. They can really kick off their economy. It can be very strong in the early game. Their units are quite good. Their infantry is the best in the game. The issue is, though, is that their infantry is slow, and they don't really get access to many ranged units and cavalry. The ranged units and cavalry they get access to are all from their mannish allies, right? So that's a weakness of the dwarves. But they also don't... Their territory is also pretty well defended, right? They have Dale in front of them, and they have easy paths of expansion that's kind of just a settlement at a time. They do have to kind of worry about the Easterlings to the south here, but not for a while, because the Easterlings have to worry about other factions first. One of those factions they'll have to worry about is the Kingdom of Dale. Now, the Kingdom of Dale have, I have to say, one of the shittest starts in the mod. They really do. Their early game units aren't that great. They have a decent late game roster. Their economy starts... It is terrible to begin with, which is surprising considering they have Dale and they have Eskarov, which are two big cities. It doesn't really seem to make much sense that their economy sucks this much, but it does. And also, whilst they have a decent path of expansion, the settlements they kind of take aren't that great, and the rebel settlements have big garrisons. So, bit of a problem for them. Further south, we have Dorwinion. Now, this is another one of the factions which was pretty much created solely for this mod. Now, Dorwinion is an interesting faction because they get an option to choose between going like a Mannish path or an Elvish path. They have a lot of versatile units. Their economy is quite good to begin with. It's one of the best economies in the game to start with. The only issue is that they get thrown into the action very early. Their territory is quite defendable, at least from the south. You know, there's really only kind of one path in, unless Rune wants to go around the side here. And then we have the main antagonists of this territory, and those are the Easterlings of Rune. Now, the Easterlings have a pretty strong unit roster. Its early game isn't that good, but as far as a late game unit roster goes, it's incredibly good. They also have plenty of territory they can expand through, and they also have access to a pretty strong economy. They can kick their economy off to a great start. So they're going to be a bit of a powerhouse early on. And finally, there's also Dol Guldur. They're going to play a role in a couple of different theatres of war. They're going to play a role in the Vales of Anduin, but they're also going to play a role against the Men of Dale eventually, because they're going to expand up through this territory here, and this settlement called Brown Boat. I don't know why this... It's such a... I feel like the devs phoned it in on that one, Brown Boat. Okay, so the Vales of Anduin Theatre of War. This one is going to be very hectic. So, firstly, we have the Elves of Mirkwood. They are Frandwill's, the Woodland Realm, I believe they are, yeah. So, like all Elvish factions, they have a pretty strong unit roster. However, their unit roster is incredibly expensive, and it takes an incredibly long time to recruit and refresh. So, if the Elves lose units, it's a really big deal. Their economy isn't that strong. They do have plenty of territory to expand in to begin with, however they also have a lot of enemies close by. The people that are going to get fucked the most are the Vales of Anduin. Now, the Vales of Anduin, they have a decent early game roster. It's very versatile. Their late game roster doesn't really stand up to a lot of other factions, but it's not bad. They also start off with a fair amount of territory. You'll notice they start off with about 6 settlements. But the issue is with them, 7 settlements actually, I think. The issue with them is that the settlements aren't fantastic, and also they're surrounded on all sides by enemies. There are enemies everywhere. There's Dol Guldur, there's the Orcs of Gundabad, and then there's the Orcs of the Misty Mountains. So expect them to get buried under a wave of Orcs at the very beginning of the game. Although, they might surprise. Our other good faction in the area is the Elves of Lothlorien. Now, they have a pretty chilled start. Like I said before, Elven factions have great unit rosters, but they're expensive. They're slow to recruit. The Elves of Lothlorien yeah, like I said, very condensed start. They don't have a lot of room for expansion, but they can defend their territory fairly easily, which is something that AI often struggles to do. So they they probably have one of the kind of more chill starts. They can kind of choose where they want to go because they have allies. They have allies to the south and they have allies to the north. They have it kind of easy of. They probably have the easiest of all the factions in this area. And the other good faction we have here is Khazad-dûm. Now, this is an interesting faction. If you play them, you actually start in Erebor. You're supposed to represent Balin's expedition. You start in Erebor and you make your way to Khazad-dûm and you can take it, and it's a pretty interesting campaign. You start as a horde. However, for the sake of the AI, they do not start as a horde and they actually start with West Khazad-dûm already taken. These guys have a really strong unit roster, and Western Khazad-dûm is a really good city. The issue for them is, what I've noticed is they don't really seem to do anything. I don't know what the deal is, but they just kind of seem to sit here. They're a thorn in the side of the Orcs of the Misty Mountains, but they just don't really seem to do much. And speaking of the Orcs of the Misty Mountains, they are a bit of an early game powerhouse in this area, right? So they start off with a decent amount of territory. They do start off kind of surrounded by enemies, but you'll see once this gets going. You'll see like how quickly they can expand out in different directions. Their unit roster isn't great, but their units are cheap, and so they can throw lots of them. They can basically just bury their enemies with like human wave strategies. They do have some allies to the north though, and these are the Gundabad Orcs rather. Now, the Gundabad Orcs, I believe, they are the latest faction to be introduced into the game. They were I think they were taken out of the game and then they were re-added. So, the reason why they were re-added is they're kind of their unit roster is a bit different to the Goblin faction in the Misty Mountains. Their unit roster is a bit stronger, it's a bit more diverse, and they've basically been put here as a main enemy to stop the Dwarves, because the Dwarves are inevitably going to spread this way. And they're here to basically, put some northern pressure on the Vales of Anduin and to stop the dwarves from just easily rolling through all the way through this territory. Because, the bigger the factions are, the more the AI struggles to defend their territory. And that's exactly what happened to the mountain orcs in previous updates. They just really struggled in these regions. Okay, our last sort of theatre of war is in Eriador. Now, we've got a diverse range of factions here. And a lot of them are actually good factions, but it still doesn't stop Eriador from being a complete battleground. So the first antagonist, the main antagonist we have is Angmar. Now Angmar aren't they're not an orcish faction, they have a lot of Manish troops, and they have a lot of elite troops, right? They have some really good late game units. They do have a slow start though, they do take a while to get going. They won't really cause many problems in the first few turns at least. That'll mostly be the job of the Goblin faction. Facing off against them are the Dunedain of the North. The Dunedain of the North have one of the strongest kind of early game units in the Dunedain ranges. The problem is with them is that, like kind of the Elven factions, their units are expensive, they take a long time to recruit, they take a long time to refresh, and the Dunedain, their early game expansion won't be as fantastic as a lot of the other factions. Right next to them are the Men of Bree, the Breeland faction, which also includes the Shire. This is one of the more passive factions in the entire game. They don't really do much. They have one of the weakest unit rosters. It says that their economy can be quite good, but their early game economy isn't. These guys, they're not going to be a factor in the early game. Right, tucked in here we have the High Elves, and also over in Lindon. The High Elves, they have the strongest unit roster in the game. Their endgame unit roster is the strongest. However, like with all Elven factions, expensive. Very expensive. Slow to recruit. And the issue is with them is that their territory is split in two. Rivendell is all the way over here, and Lindon is all the way over here, and Rivendell is going to get absolutely surrounded by orcs very early in the game. And they're gonna struggle to hold on to this. They usually always do. They'll hold on to it for a long time mostly, but they will struggle to break their way out. The other faction we have, probably also one of the most safe factions in the game, are the Dwarves of Ered Luin. They're a wildcard faction now. So what they do is they get an event not that long into the game where they have an option of taking a Dwarven Ring from Sauron. And if they take the Dwarven Ring, they'll actually break their alliances with all of their nearby good factions, and they'll end their warfare with like all of the nearby bad factions. So it's basically a chance for them to turn on their allies. And if that happens, then they're going to cause some massive problems for the factions around them. Hello, Veka Veneri? Is that Finnish? It looks Finnish. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. Okay. And the final faction is Enedwaith. Now, Enedwaith are a cool little faction. They have one of the weakest unit rosters in the game. No worries. They have one of the weakest unit rosters in the game, but they have lots of territory to expand through. Their early game economy is normally quite strong, although they fall off a bit in the late game. They're a bit of a wildcard faction because they can sort of join the bad guys or they can join the good guys, although lately they sort of more join the good guys than the bad guys. So they're going to expect them to be a pretty strong faction in this region. Okay, that is all the factions done. That's an explanation of where they all start and what they're going to be doing. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that they all cheat. All of the factions cheat. They cheat economically. They cheat with their unit rosters. And what you'll notice when I end turn here is that all of a sudden a bunch of settlements are going to magically flip to them. So, alright, let's get this underway. First turn always takes forever. Okay, got some big changes straight up. So Dol Amroth, they claim Edelond. Moria is reclaimed, we know this one. Relations report, not important. Fornost is reclaimed. So, as you can see, a bunch of the factions spread out instantly. You would have seen it in the first turn. Rune only owned this city, and now all of a sudden they own all of this territory. So this is the way the AI cheats. If you've played Divide and Conquer and you've wondered how the hell did the AI get there so quickly, they didn't do it legitimately. They cheated massively. You'll notice the dwarves did it too. All this territory is theirs. Dale doesn't cheat. They don't cheat. They get this one settlement and that's it. And they had an army there to begin with. Dwinian cheats. A couple of them don't. So you'll notice Harad has cheated. Khand has cheated. Black Numenor. Yeah, exactly. They've all cheated. Enedwaith has cheated. Dunland have Farbad. I think these guys... Yeah, these guys own Goblin Town now, so they definitely cheated too. Angmar is cheated. So all the bad guy factions have cheated, plus some of the good guy factions have too. I think in Mirkwood they've cheated too. A couple of the factions haven't. Oh, that is a... You know what? That is a good point, Lord Utran. I didn't even think of that, eh? Hold on. I'll fix that. I'll put myself over here. Because, you don't need to see... Because I'm playing passively, you don't need to see my money, and you don't need to see my, I'm very new to this. I'll pick it up as I go. I won't make silly mistakes like that again. This is the bane of my existence. It's if you tab out how long it takes to load back in. Okay, so now you can see the map. I can zoom in a bit. I'll keep it like that for the moment. Just zoom it in if like big things happen somewhere. Yeah, I will learn, hopefully. Or maybe not. I'm kind of stupid. Alright. Let's just keep rolling through the turns. Fortunately with this mod is that you get lots of pop-ups on the side if something big has happened, if like factions have expanded, or if certain places are under siege, certain places have fallen. Like I said, a lot of... Is this game free? No, it's for the game Medieval 2, which is an old Total War game, but the mod is free. Yeah, we don't care. Okay, here we go. Dominion of Isengard versus Kingdom of Rohan. This is the big war in this area that we've been waiting for. As you can see, Isengard have started off. They're attacking the settlement of Foldberg. Peasant Militia, not great units. Here's our boy Gamling. You can see Isengard have a pretty diverse army here already. They're ready. They are ready to go. But Rohan have reinforcements along the way. Lots of just infantry, no cavalry from Rohan. Interesting, very interesting. So as you can see here, Mordor is already after Gondor. We've got,
Is that what you want?
as you can see, just all infantry. They've got some decent units here, 410. Orcish units aren't great. Rohan no cavalry challenge. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. Yeah, shit tier units from Mordor already, but you know, they're going to overwhelm with numbers. But like I said, Gondor have good units too. Just a basic spearman unit here, 23 defense, which is crazy good. You compare that to some of these Orcish units. I think these guys have shields. They have 10 defense, so there's a very big difference already. But the good thing is for Gondor is that they only have to worry about Mordor to begin with. They won't have to worry about these guys in the south this early. But we're going to have warfare kicking off here very soon. Okay. Where are pirates? So the Corsairs of Umbar used to be their own faction, but the developers decided to create a completely new faction called Adunaim, which are a Black Númenórean faction, which comes from the south. So they own Umbar, which are the pirates, but the Haradrim have access to Corsair units, and so do these guys. They all pick up Corsair units. I think the, jeez, look at this for an army. They've got a full stack here. They've got multiple generals in. Well, they're supposed to be going north. Where are they going? I think the developers, I think the Corsairs were just too similar to the Haradrim, so they wanted to add a completely new faction, and I actually agree with them. Mordor have lost their army here, I believe. And Isengard appear to have lost their army here too. Alright, let's just keep rolling through. Yeah, so Adunaim do start as a horde for the player. But for the AI, that doesn't start as a horde. The AI starts with Umbar, and then they quickly expand and take this. But Adunaim are a very interesting faction to play, and I think in the future I want to do if I kind of commit to this whole streaming thing and then uploading these videos to YouTube, what I want to do in the future is maybe like a kind of ridiculous Adunaim kind of campaign where I go up and, I don't know, land up in Eriador or something. I think that would be funny. Maybe go up to the Grey Havens or something. Okay, so as I said before, the Dwarves of Balin's expedition here, they're not doing anything. They're just sitting here. They will not do anything, I think, for most of the game. The elves are on the attack. We've got Elra here, Gildor, and Lord Elladan, all in the same army here. They're trying to lose all of their generals at the same time. They've got orcs coming up behind them. It would be nice if I got pinged on the map to show where the action is, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll try and pick up what we can. The most fun approach is to sail up the Anduin and start out in Osgiliath. Yeah, I mean, that would be very tough. I think the... Okay, Andros is under attack. I think the difference is that with Adunaim, you can like pick on, like if you landed in Eriador, if you like landed in Londare or something, you could pick on Enedwaith so much because your units would just destroy them. But like Gondor, that'd be a natural challenge. Relations improved. We don't care. We're not doing anything. Okay. So Angmar are expanding. They've started expanding southwards. Not much happening over here. How are the Rangers doing? They're not really doing much. Farbad has been taken by the Dunlendings. I don't think Shelob is in the mod. There are some mods for the Third Age Total War mod, which do add spider units, and they're a bit wonky. They're just because it's such an old game. Yep. Alright, what have... Got anything else? So, as you can see, slow the start over here. Dwynien, they aren't moving. Rune aren't really moving. Like I said, Dale just has an awful early game economy, so they will struggle to begin with. They won't really be, rushing out to take territory. So, the good thing is we won't really have to worry about what's going on over there to begin with, because nothing will be happening over there. This is where the action's going to be, and this is where the action's going to be. As you can see, Mordor have come back. The Mouth of Sauron is a diplomat unit.
Most noble ally.
Interesting. So here's something that Enedwaith are already expanding southwards. They might even grab some Gondorian territory over down here if they're quick enough. Oh, look at this. This is a big move. I haven't really seen this ever happen. So the High Elves have actually managed to grab the settlement of Zagkala. And this is a pretty big deal because it's just basically split the goblins in half. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised by that. Interesting. Already some interesting developments. What have we got? How are the dwarves doing? Are they going to be expanding around much up here? No? Oh, I don't know about this. Captain Hackthak. Yeah, this is a little bit suicidal. He's got no man, and he's going to his death here. He'll be dead. We can watch him die. Oh, no, maybe not. They're scared of him. Captain Hackthak. I so want to start the Khazad-dûm campaign. I'm surprised that Angmar actually did that. That they managed to wreck all the good factions. Then again, actually, like most of my campaigns, I've played a lot of the Dunedain Rangers, right? And so I'm kind of used to sort of like stopping Angmar in their tracks, I guess. So I haven't really seen how AI Angmar goes. But I imagine if, yeah, no one's there to stop them, they'll become problematic. And Elves doing something. This has not happened since the First Age. That's a bit unfair to the Elves. They did stuff in the Second Age. But these guys aren't doing much. Lothlorien, they're just sitting here. Ooh. Gazfer is going in. He's completely surrounded by... He's completely surrounded by, like, tiny Gondorian armies. This is something I have to say that might be controversial, but this is why newer Total War games are better in the sense that you can only have units in generals, because
Is that what you want?
I think did they win? No, he's been driven back actually, but all of Gondor's little armies are gone. Faramir's running away. He's out of here. He's like, fuck this. I'm not hanging around. Shit, Angmar managed to conquer the Grey Havens in your game too? Wow. What have we got happening here? Oh, he's coming with reinforcements. We could have a flip here, and look at this.
Is that what you want?
He's going deep. He's going straight in for the Hornburg. I saw some Rohan expansion on the map up there. Ooh. I don't think they were able to do it. AI couldn't handle it. Minas Morgul besieged. Look at this. A gift. Thank you. Iorthon. He's going for Minas Morgul. That's where Gothmog is. He's the faction heir. Sounds like you got unlucky, Lord Utran, that Angmar managed to do that and all the elves just suicided themselves. Normally they hang on for quite a while. But Angmar is expanding. They've actually, they're probably going to grab Nokva Raglor pretty soon too. And that's going to put them right on the border of the Dunedain Ranges here. So we're going to have some action up in the north here very soon, you'd imagine. How are our Valemen doing? They've managed to capture Aelstone. I believe that was that a Goblin settlement? I thought they captured. Yeah, RNGesus. No, I know. But, like, so many Total War games come down to RNG. Like, especially if you're playing on harder difficulties or you're playing in harder factions, and especially in newer Total War games. So many of it, like, so much of it comes down to RNG. Especially in the Warhammer games. It's just like how certain factions perform around you. So Adunaim are slowly creeping up the coast. They've captured Gobel Merlond. This guy, Lord Gamilzor, that's his portrait is the guy from Shadow of Mordor.
I am a warrior,
Eldamir.
not an
It's not a very black Numenorian name. Alright. Have the Shire expanded anywhere? Nope. They're chill. They are just happy doing their own thing. This is a nice settlement for them to grab, actually, because it's got the Elastirian stone. Look at that. Building income, 250. That's very nice. Dol Guldur are expanding a fair bit. They've managed to capture quite a bit of territory around here. They're going to come into conflict with the elves pretty shortly, you'd imagine. But this is where our action's going to be. I got to keep focused. If I played Gondor, would I suck up Dol Amroth or let them distract the south? Wow. Anduin Vale, Woodland Realm, Alliance. That's not surprising. Yeah, I haven't really played Gondor all that much. I get very... See, I'm a very slow start kind of player, and Gondor do not have a slow start whatsoever. Personally, I would leave Dol Amroth alive, absolutely, because I just think they're kind of handy in the south. Just kind of, you know, distracting all these people up here. Dol Amroth is a great city to have, and so is Edelond. They're both amazing cities to have, but I just, yeah. No, I couldn't bring myself to betray my allies like that. Off. Thank you, Veka. That's I want to live stream more. I do like it. I do enjoy it. I'm a bit slow to begin with. I'm kind of not. I gotta get used to it first. I gotta, you know, be a bit more casual with it. But I do love interacting. I do love interacting with people. Wait, what alliance did we just have there? Variags of Khand. Okay, I'm assuming, yeah, it was with one of them factions. Never mind. Kaer Andros is under siege. Okay, we've got a status quo here. We've got Foldberg is under attack again. The people of Foldberg are having miserable lives. It is terrible. You do not want to live in Foldberg. Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? But it's holding on, though. It's holding on. Thank you for the gift. 1500 gold, which I will not need. Gildor is off on his own. 32 men. That's a bit brave of him. High Chieftain Uglag. Ooh, Tirduin is a goblin settlement now. I wonder if the... I wonder who lost that. I wonder if the Dunedain actually captured that one. Dwarves have captured this settlement. High Elves aren't doing anything down here. What you're going to see is you're going to see this... I'll zoom in. This greenish brown... They're going to expand. They're going to swallow up this entire corner of the map. It's going to be glorious. So, fun fact about Enedwaith and why I have such a sweet spot for them is that... Did I lose money? I swear I had more money than this. I have such a sweet spot for Enedwaith because I was part of the old Divide and Conquer team many years ago. A long time ago. And I actually wrote some of the stuff for Enedwaith. My original idea for Enedwaith was that you could reform Cardolan if you conquered the right territories. But I don't think... the lead developers weren't exactly keen on that. They didn't really want like another sort of Arnor type faction, which was fair enough. And for the original Third Age Total War mod, I actually wrote the description for the Gundabad faction. And it's a terrible description. It's awful. It was written by me when I was like 15 years old and I couldn't write for shit, so I had a game where Dol Amroth took Barad Han, then got landed in the rear and lost all other settlements except Barad Han, so it became the cap. Barad Han, there it is. Poor Dol Amroth. Yeah, that does sound like an AI thing to do. They just lose all their rear settlements. But we're having some big battles over here. Keeping an eye out. I want... It's pretty chill to watch at the moment. Nothing overly exciting is happening here. Nothing overly exciting is happening. I'm just shitting on my own stream here. No, it's super exciting. Imladris is besieged. Hello. This is going to happen a lot, I imagine. It's an emoji. What emoji is that? Captain Kamul. He's on the run. He's got some Salvarons with him. He's going for Karandros, maybe. They're pouring in. This is classic AI here. Right here. Classic old AI. Look at them. They're just sitting here. They've got a Nazgul here. Zagar. They don't want to join into one big army. They're just going to sit there. Haradrim have captured Amon Ithel. Foldberg continues to hold. They've got an army here under Eamund, and they've got cavalry. Eamund is Eomer's father. Oh. What's happened here? Have we had some losses? Looks like Isengard's come out on top there. Oh, look at this. They've got some units there now. This might be looking a little bit grim for Rohan. Karandros is under attack again. Faramir's back. He has stopped running away. He's back to fight. What has happened here?
I am a warrior, not
I don't know if Eamund lost here. His units still look like they're in pretty good shape. I think he retreated.
Is that what you want?
Isengard general named Bolg. They've got about a full stack here. These units are very badly damaged, though. Rohan has reinforcements on the way. I think they should be fine. The goblins are... How are they doing? Austin Edil is theirs. The siege of Imladris got broken. How are our dwarves of Khazad-dûm going? They're just sitting here. They just sit there. I'm telling you, that AI is kind of broken. They don't do anything. See, Lord Utran, it could be worse. Your allies could be Balin's expedition. At least Ol Amroth do stuff, or they attempt to do stuff. These guys just sit here. They're selfish. They just sit there in their little city and they don't do anything. Dale has not captured another settlement since the start of the game. They're so slow. So slow. Yeah, Cardalan was a splinter kingdom of Arnor. I wanted to make it so Enedwaith had Cardalan, where Enedwaith could form Cardalan, because a lot of Cardalan kind of made up the area where this faction sort of yeah, the Mordor Conga line, yeah. Yeah, one of three. The other one was Rudour. Cardalan don't really... They all get representation in the game, though. All three of the Splinter Kingdoms do. Because obviously the Dunedain can, like, sort of... They can get, like, Arthedain units later on. They can also recruit Cardalan units if they hold Cardalani territory. So if they hold places like this. The Cardalani units are actually quite good. They're the Cardalan Sentinels there. They have, so, like, melee, ranged, and decent defense, too. And then the Angmar get access to Rudour units, which are like Hillmen and stuff, so they all get representation in the game. And yeah, the Mordor Conga line is... This is ridiculous. I love the AI. I hate it and I love it. Empire Total War was the worst for it, though. Empire Total War, there was just... The AI would go crazy with their little one stacks. The funny thing about this is that you just, like, look at all of those... You look at that Conga line and you go... If they join together, they could, like, overwhelm Gondor here. But they're just busy, like, just being useless. Imladris is under siege yet again.
Is that what you want?
Ooh, they've got... This place is under siege too, but they've got Elbra here.
I am a warrior, not an emissary, my lord.
Kill the Ottomans, yeah. I didn't... ooh, look at this. Their army is... They've got a lot of units which are low on, These are Manyar Swordmasters. 19 attack, 17 defense. And they're gonna get destroyed if they're not careful here. They're down to 15 men. And Manyar Riders too. We might start seeing some... Oh, here we go. We've got the Angmarim moving into Dunedain territory. So
There is healthy
we're
respect
gonna have some battling going on soon. Yeah, here we go. Oh, look at this. Foldberg is flipped. I missed this. Isengard have captured Foldberg, but Rohan's back with a vengeance. They've got two decent-sized armies here with lots of cavalry. They should take this back, I think.
I am a warrior, not an emissary, my lord.
Gil-galad's company is super OP. What happened to Rohan? Where did their armies go? Did they just retreat? Is Gamling... Yeah, ROP Gamling. Is he still alive? We're gonna find out. I hope so. Poor Gamling. I wonder what happened to him in the films. He just disappeared. You guys ever notice that? He just disappeared in the films? He just kind of, but he never got shown dying, so who knows what happened to him. Hornburg is under siege. What the hell happened to Rohan? Where did their armies go? Where's Eamund? Prince Phaedrad's here. His garrison's not looking too healthy. Giggly lad, you mean? Giga lad. As I learned last night, he's actually Giga lad. Nah, in the books he doesn't die. He survives the Battle of the Hornburg. And then he just stays there afterwards. He doesn't go anywhere. He's an older dude in the books. In the books, he'd be older than 60 in the books. So, what happened to Eamund? Erkenbrand is here.
There is healthy respect.
He's already quite old. He's 40. I don't think he was that old already in the books. Eamund has fallen back. He's fallen back into the Hornburg. Interesting. Eomer died. Nah, Eomer shouldn't be... Eomer should still be a kid. Nah, he's still here. He's still alive, Eamund, but he's not... I wonder if they lost that battle or they retreated. I don't know how they could have lost that battle. I guess the auto-resolve, it can be a bit wacky at times. Yeah, AI stupidity. But it's what's gonna make this fun. It's the AI being stupid as hell is gonna make this hilarious. I'm gonna be tearing my hair out when the AI just screws up. Let's go back. What have we got? They're pushing in. Look at this. They're besieging Ginyard as well, and they have the Hornburg besieged too. They're making a play, Isengard. I feel like they might be stretched a bit too far, but they are making a play. Zagkala has fallen. It is returned to has returned to the goblins here. So Elrond in Rivendell is in a bit of trouble maybe here. We are missing some generals. Where is we've got Elrahir's here. Elrond's here. What happened to Eladan and Gildor? They were around. I think they might have died, yeah. I think they might have been in, or at least one of them might have been in Zagkala. And I reckon they've died when it's flipped. Perhaps Elrahir has lost his twin. Interesting. That's very sad. He's had a brother for so long and now he's dead. Well, the Lothlorien elves are deciding to capture this shitty little village. That's a pretty easy garrison. Some of the garrisons in this game are absolutely crazy. Like, they're absolutely ridiculously strong. Fornost's garrison is really strong. It's always a settlement that's just a complete pain in the ass to try and take. Privateer Axemen, these are good units. Dale is going to have a bad time. How's Dunland doing? Not much. No one's taking the settlement. No one wants South Aphelion. They're just Mordor's conga lining and Gondor's on Struggle Street. Let's give this a save. What's going on up north here? Aelstone has fallen to the Snow Orcs, the Gundabad Orcs, so... And the Gundabad Orcs have expanded. South Gondor, yeah. Yeah, it was a battleground in the books, but... I mean, Khand is coming in. They're looking to... Harad's trying its best to cut off Adunayim from the south, so... From going north. No one wants this shit territory here. No one wants this settlement. No one wants the trollmen. No one wants to face them. No one wants this settlement here. They're all just shitty little villages in the south. Dorwinion hasn't expanded. These guys still haven't expanded. Dunland is going after Metrafe. So that'll put them on the border with Breland, which is going to be interesting. Oh, Gildor's here. Gildor's alive.
Not an emissary, my lord.
Yeah, I think we might have just lost Eladan, maybe. Alright, let's look back here. What's happening? Eomer's made it out. He was in Helm's Deep. He's fleeing. Oh, look at this. They have 3 generals in here. Goldwine, Aldwulf, and Erkenbrand. If they lose... Yeah, poor Harmer. I mean... The movies did Harmer dirty. He didn't even make it to... He dies in Helm's Deep in the books, but he didn't even make it to... Oh, look at that. Isengard has just taken Ginyard. Yeah, in the movies, he doesn't even make it there. He gets killed in He's killed by a warg. Oh, look at this. Rohan is struggling straight away. Prince Aemond. Oh, check this out. That means Phaedrid is dead. Phaedrid is already dead. So, I think, Aomer's alive. So they've aged everyone up here, because if this was truthful to the books, I think Phaedrid would still be a young kid, and I don't think Aomer would be alive yet, so... But, yeah, interesting. Yeah, poor Rohan. Zygar has a decent army here. He's up against Turlin. Look at Maimon the Fearless. He's just charging off north. I wonder where he's going to go. This will be interesting. I want to see where this guy goes. They've called him the Fearless for a reason. Where did he go? He's bailed somewhere. Hornburg besieged again. Okay, Andros under attack. Yeah, I think he realized that. I think he's went back south. There he is. He's on the road there. How are the Rangers doing? Framsburg is under siege, the ancient Rohirrim capital. Not a big army besieging them, though. Yeah. Yeah. Maimon wanted to, He, wanted to go join the Conga line, but he got there a bit too late. Still love that tale. Still haven't captured another settlement. They have a brutal start. Ooh, look at this. Dol Amroth has decided they're going to cut off everyone. They're going to take Hord Howdener. Howdener. We had some death sounds just there. Khand and Dol Amroth are at war with each other, so I'm assuming that's his settlement here. Yeah, it's under siege. And we have the Dunlendings and the Goblins declaring that they're allies. Bloody Dunlendings, you shouldn't mess around. Oh no, look at this. This isn't good. So it's Imrahil. Imrahil is in this settlement. It's got no men. I don't think it doesn't have the building to spawn a garrison, and they're under siege.
As much as you may wish it, I am not yours.
Okay. So I don't think they can actually take this settlement then, because these are all mounted troops. They can't operate the siege ram. I don't think they can. Okay, well, they need to get like an infantry unit there ASAP. So, oh, he's got help coming, but he's got to get across the. He's got to get over there first. Classic AI. Oh, but he's also got Togrul. That's a Mongolian name. The AI is just already just showing why Medieval 2 was just the best. Yeah. Grima Wormtongue. He's look at him.
You have something in mind for our people, noble one?
I don't think Grima sounded like that. That doesn't sound right. These guys made it out.
Not an emissary, my lord.
All right. I should have put it south so we could have seen what happened to Imrahil, but I think he'll be fine. What was that? What, Grima's voice? Yeah. It's so some of the factions use recycled voice lines from the base game.
Approach to open negotiations.
And I think that might be one of them. Goblins of Moria, Anduin Vale. So the Goblins of Moria are going crazy. Yeah, so... yeah. Yeah, Grima obviously doesn't sound like that. He might have sounded like that. Maybe that's what Tolkien had in mind when he wrote the character in the books. So Gimli's up and running up here. It's just Gimli and Gloin. Okay, that's an interesting strategy. Let's just not take any units. We'll just take our... Metrave. No one wants the Barrow Downs. It's a brutal settlement to have. 10% negative happiness, 10% negative 5% law. Yeah, Father Son Day. I don't know how cute Father and Son Day is if they go off and just die in the mountains like idiots. But Rohan seems to be holding on for the moment. While they hold the Hornburg, it's normally they're okay. They can sort of afford to lose these sort of frontier settlements, but if they hold the Hornburg, they're all good because they can recruit some pretty good units out of the Hornburg, and the fact that the Hornburg is, you know, quite a good settlement. It's quite difficult. It's supposed to be difficult to take. The One Ring has been located in Dol Guldur. Unfortunately, we can't... Who has it here? It must be Khamul. Khamul has the One Ring. Unfortunately, we can't see his traits, but... There we go. He should take it back to Sauron, but that's not the way it works. Look at this unit. Khamul Shadow Guard. 16 attack, 20 defense. That's a nice unit. Okay, so now the goblins are at war with the Valemen. The Valemen are going to find themselves fighting on two fronts. What have we got up here?
You wish to parley, send an emissary.
Alright, ooh.
Is that what you want?
Ooh, I don't know about this. We might... Gimli and Gloin might run into some problems here. This is...
My respects to you.
13, 24, that's Axguard of Erebor. That's a pretty strong unit, but there's only 140 of them. Durin's Guard, oh, that's a strong unit too, 16, 34. They are up against a lot of orcs. I don't know about this one. Let's keep an eye on this. Let's watch what happens here. This might be deadly for our father-son duo out on their Father's Day. Oh, they're retreating. It would be quite sad if we lose all our iconic characters very early. We've already lost Feodred, we've already lost Eladan. Karandros under attack again. No, it's not retreating if you don't call it a retreat, Lord Utran. It's they were always intending on going that way. It's fine. Faramir is still alive, at least. I see what you mean about Angmar. Angmar going crazy. See, like I said, in my last campaign, I actually played as the Northern Dunedain. So, I was actually, you know, there to kind of hold them off as the player faction. Jesus Christ, look at this rebel army. This is ridiculous. Little trash tier units. What happened here? Why are these guys here? Right. Here's a fun little Easter egg down the bottom of the map here, actually. Oh, they're not here. Oh, maybe they don't spawn here if you play as, Oh no, here they are. Yeah. It's the Ents.
Your best shot.
Look at this. The Ents are at the bottom of the map. 48, 41, look at that. Got all the Ents. Don't know what they're doing down here, but they are here.
Nothing to say to
So, yeah. You can't get here though, it's impassable, but there are Ents down. That's where the Entwives went. They're looking for the Entwives. Down in the desert. Yeah, no, I saw what you mean about Angmar going crazy here. They're going to be quite tough to deal with, I think. Yeah, interesting. It'll be really interesting if the dwarves of Ered Luin switch sides. That will be very dire for the northern factions, the good guys. Alright, let's get back to see what's happening in Gondor. We hold out for the moment where Dale captures another settlement. Oh, Dorwinion just expanded. I'm watching it. They just expanded to the west a bit. Someone just died.